So this is Jeremiah 13, part 2, the section on wineskins, verse 12. Say to them, this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says, every wineskin should be filled with wine. And if they say to you, don't we know that every wineskin should be filled with wine? Then tell them this is what the Lord says. I'm going to fill with drunkenness all who live in the land, including the kings who sit on David's throne, the priests, the prophets, and all those living in Jerusalem. I will smash them one against the other, parents and children alike, declares the Lord. I will allow no pity or mercy or compassion to keep me from destroying them. Now we see in the New Testament, Christ talks, as a character in the story, talks about putting new wine in new wine skins, and not old wine in new wine skins, or new wine in old wine skins. And this is part of what he's talking about here. There's all kinds of connection with fruit and wine, and then there's this, okay? Now I go as far as say that, again, I despise the Bible. I despise people trying to get me to do it their way. It is so pitiful. What they're doing is like Frodo Baggins, Carlton, Donald Trump, and people like this all coming together and saying, no, do it our way, right? It is pathetic, okay? I don't like to have to explain it under these terms. Every other person on the planet is explaining it so wrong. It is a profound disgrace and a curse the way that they're doing it. They're cursing themselves and their offspring to the extreme. There's no sense in it. There's no honor. They can't go home and look at their wives and be proud of themselves. They can't look at their kids and be proud of themselves. It's just complete disgrace. And that is reflected in the story to some degree. In like verse 14, I will smash them one against the other, parents and children alike, declares the Lord. I will allow no pity or mercy or compassion to keep me from destroying them. Talking about their souls, their spirit, their life worth. Okay, I'm never talking about in these videos, well, we'll leave that alone for now. Okay, next section, threat of captivity. Hear and pay attention. Do not be arrogant, for the Lord has spoken. Give glory to the Lord your God before he brings the darkness, before your feet stumble on the darkening hills. You hope for light, but he will turn it to utter darkness and change it to deep gloom. If you do not listen, I will weep in secret because of your pride. My eyes will weep bitterly, overflowing with tears, because the Lord's flock will be taken captive. They're taken captive, for they're kept from the light of God, righteousness, not the light of Luciferian Westernism, which is like, what every church in the world does. Not the light of conformity to the state, conformity of any of your cultures, but the light of obeying God through me, having the heart to obey God through the top martial arts ever, instead of following some false idol who pretends he's equal or greater, which is utterly despicable, and so on and so forth. Okay. Say to the king and to the queen mother, come down from your thrones, for your glorious crowns will fall from your heads. The cities in the Negev will be shut up, and there will be no one to open them. All Judah will be carried into exile, carried completely away. Look up and see those who are coming from the north. Where is the flock that we entrusted to you, the sheep of which you boasted? What will you say when the Lord sets over you those you cultivate as your special allies? Will not pain grip you like that of a woman in labor? Now this part's key here. I've gone over this another video. I've gone over this whole chapter before, in fact, but it's talking about, the kingdom of heaven is being taken away, right? There's a new heaven and new earth, right? God has a new covenant with a new people. There's a new patriarchal order. This caused, racist white Jews and LGBT hate groups. I don't want to break the rules on TikTok, so I'm not going to tell you how many of them there are, but there's a lot of them. And they started to breed like bunny rabbits, started to breed like freaking a plague spreading, just spreading that plague in the form of their forced and coerced breeding cycles. That's why so many females have the long fingernails. So many females are acting funny. So many kind of mixed looking people everywhere, because these people are like, they seized countries, they seized cultures and religions, and they became the central patriarchal lines in them. In extreme disgrace. I mean, I'm thank God so much that I'm not part of their movements, because that is pure evil. If you're part of those movements, run, not walk, to obey God through me. There's no other way to look at it. Okay? You can cry over spilt milk, but if you still have time to clean it up, run and obey God through me. So what will you say now that Christ is here and is proven definitively where it matters most in reality? What do you say to your spies and to those who are where? What do you say to your family members who are where? Those who you should have cultivated as your allies in obedience to God through me. What will you say to them? You racist Jews who persecute me. You racist whites. You racist Americans and Israelis and English people. You racist LGBT. What will you say? You racist token minorities, by your actions, you've yoked yourself to a spirit of racism and oppression. What will you say? And if you ask yourself, why has this happened to me? It is because of your many sins that your skirts have been torn off and your body's mistreated. Why? They talking about just about women? No. You're in the spirit of an unruly woman. Folly is an unruly woman because of your folly. Your skirts have been ripped off. We don't care how big you can fucking hook yourself in a machine and make yourself have a big genitals. That's not going to change the fact that you are embarrassed. You are disgraced. That disgrace will never be wiped away. The covenant is broken. In the next verse, it makes clear who those allies are, who those people that they cultivated as their special allies. Now, where this is true and where it's not true is a pain in the butt. But to make a long story short, Jews and blacks have a certain relationship, but the black community is not elevated here. So it's saying it's this certain type of black people. Amos 9:7, Nahum 3, Genesis 10. A certain type of black person, which is me. Not the masses of black people. That's why it says, can an Ethiopian change his skin or a leopard its spots? Neither can you do good who are accustomed to do evil. Remember the term, they use things to refer to good and evil. So there's a way to look at it in terms of the evil Ethiopians, and there's a way to look at it in terms of the righteous essence of what they know of black people. Because they refer to all black people as Cushites, basically, as Ethiopians. Okay, all black people from Africa were a strong association with Africa. That's basically how I go as far as say, I was right to say it that way the first time. They refer to black people as Cushites. Okay, it's the simplest answer. Okay, now it gets confusing because the Shemites are also, they refer to black people who have a strong association. For example, someone like me, I didn't grow up in a Jewish with a Jewish heritage, like as a Jewish person. Okay. I grew up as a man of God who transcends all the Jews put together, right? But someone in Ethiopia might come from generations of people who identify as Jews. And long ago, the Jews in the story, right? If you trace history, look at the thing, they had dark skin, right? So, but they knew of these certain types of black people who don't have a Jewish identity as Cushites. That's why it says in Amos 9:7, are you not the same unto me as the Cushites, O children of Israel? And again, and the Bible says, why don't you trudge for yourself what is right? Isaiah 28:17, I will make justice the measuring line of righteousness the plume line. Hail will sweep away your refuge line. Water will overflow your hiding place. Because it is the righteous one from among them. That's why they went right to that. Okay, let's go over that real quickly. It's a little confusing. Ask me in the comments. What will you say when the Lord sets over you those you cultivate as your special allies will not pay and grip over you like that of a woman in labor? Okay. And if you ask yourself, why has this happened to me? It is because of your many sins that your skirts have been torn off and your body mistreated. Can an Ethiopian, who you have as your special allies, like in Israel right now, change his skin or leopard its spots? Neither can you do good who are accustomed to do evil. And just like in the story where Christ and Isaiah and Jeremiah, they're doing good, but the masses of Jews are doing evil, okay, a certain type of black person is the one who's set above them. That's me. Okay, and the divine verdict I've said many times is after my flesh dies, everyone will be sealed in hell. That's it, right? Everyone will be cut off from heaven. Now, and if people have to scramble to obey God through me in time, in a timely fashion, in order to go to heaven, okay? And that doesn't mean that magically their offspring magically are magically saved. No. Anyone who doesn't, as an individual, okay, they're done. Whether they're offspring of an individual who obeyed in time or not. Anyway, I will scatter you like chaff before the desert wind. This is your lot, the portion I have decreed for you, declares the Lord, because you have forgotten me and trusted in false gods. I will pull up your skirts over your face, that your shame may be seen, your adulteries and your lustful neighing, your shameless prostitution. I have seen your detestable acts on the hills and in the fields. Woe to you, Jerusalem! How long will you be unclean? Okay, now with Jerusalem, again, there's a new Jerusalem. So God, the idea of God having a covenant with the people in a city is Jerusalem. It's not actually Jerusalem. Okay, just like, I've never been to Africa, right? But I'm still embodying that idea of being an African. Okay, and so it is with Jerusalem. Okay, I've never been to Jerusalem, but I am the gate to the new Jerusalem in the spiritual realm. In the spiritual realm, I have been to Jerusalem. Well, I'm out of time. Put it in the comments. That's part of why I don't like the Bible, because if I explain it myself, you get it the first time. And the Bible is written by people who want to confuse you so they can sexually control you, and you see that everywhere these days.